Strawberry Swirl Brioche starts with a brioche dough. What is brioche? It's an enriched dough. That means that it has the addition of possibly milk, possibly eggs, possibly butter. And this dough has all three of those things. You may know brioche because you've had it in a hamburger bun or a slider bun, maybe in cinnamon rolls before, or in a piece of a large brioche loaf that somebody has sliced, and maybe you made French toast out of it. So that there are a lot of applications for this dough, and today we're going to use it to make the strawberry swirl loaf. I think you'll really like it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, in my mixer bowl, I have our liquid ingredients. So we have the water, the milk, the egg, and then I also put in my instant yeast. Now in lecture I will put in a conversion for the different types of yeast, just in case you don't have instant yeast at home. And just to let you know, we did not have to warm up this liquid. So you don't have to warm up the milk, you don't have to warm up the water, because we used instant yeast for this. If you were to use active dry, you would have to warm up the liquid just a little bit to your body temperature. And then it could kind of release the encasing on it. So now that we have all of our liquid in here, I want to put all of my dry ingredients in here. The only thing I'm leaving out is this butter. This butter has been left out for a little while, so it's nice and soft at this point. So we'll go ahead and we'll put all of the dry ingredients in. And then use the power of our machine with the dough hook. Okay? Very important that we use the dough hook. The dough hook is for kneading. And remember, when we did kneading before, we did it by hand. And this time, because we will have the addition of the butter as well, it'll be much easier to do it with the machine. So let's put the attachment on. And then we'll start this at a medium speed, and basically we're just going to let it run. And I want you to notice that I put all of the liquid items first, and that really helps so when you're mixing with the dough hook, that you don't have a big pocket of flour or dry ingredients stuck at the bottom. So we're going to let this mix until we get to what we call cleanup stage, and I'll show you that next. So this is our dough now that it has mixed for a few minutes. We noticed that it was actually much too wet, and therefore increased the amount of AP flour to 450 grams. I will adjust that in the recipe, and I will also detail that in the lecture notes. So what we're doing now is we're adding our softened butter. So if we add the butter cold, it's also okay, but it will just take longer to incorporate. That's why you want it soft. The thing is, you do not want it melted. If you have it melted, then it will just make the dough very, very greasy. So we want the we want the butter to just be softened, and we'll add it in. So I'm going to do a couple chunks at a time, and we're going to add that in. Let the mixer do the work, okay? The butter does not have to be completely incorporated before you add in more, okay? So now we let the mixer do the work. So now the dough has been mixing for about 10 minutes on medium speed. As you can see here, we don't have any dough left on the sides. Look how smooth and beautiful this is. Now we can put it in our oiled bowl, lightly oiled bowl, to let it rest in our bulk fermentation stage. So we just get the dough off of the hook. Okay. Remember, when you're oiling your bowl, you have to use a neutral oil, nothing that's going to give it extra flavor, unless the recipe already asks for that. Okay, so we will just transfer the dough into our bowl, and as you can see, it is still quite sticky, and that is correct. Okay, so take a look at our dough here. I just want to turn it over so that I can get the oil on the top. And that way, if it proofs all the way up to the plastic, that it does not stick to the plastic. I happen to have some plastic wrap right here. And I will put this on the bowl, okay? And then I want to make sure that this is doubled in size. So it just really depends on what environment you put this in. If we put it in an actual proofer, then it might be shorter. If you put it just at room temperature like this, it's probably going to take you longer. So since we have a makeshift proofer, I want to check this in about half hour to see if it has doubled in size. Another way you could also use reference point is to use a marker, and you can put a circle where the dough has started. So I will go ahead and do that. Okay, and I want to label this dough because I'm going to be doing 3 doughs today, and I want to make sure I don't get them mixed up. So brioche. Okay, see you in a bit. All right, we are going to finish our brioche. As you can see, it has doubled in size. It took us about 45 minutes. So for you, it might take longer. You want to put it in a kind of warm, draft-free place, nothing too hot. So you don't want to put it, for example, on top of a hot toaster, on top of a hot oven. You will burn the bottom of the dough and you'll end up cooking it. So look how beautiful our dough is. Yes. And now we can test to see if it's properly proofed by doing the poke test. So we have 2 types of poke tests. This one, we put our finger in and the indentation should stay. You see that? We know that it's ready. Awesome. So let's put some bench flour down. And we're going to roll this baby out. Okay. Oh, this dough is like a dream. So beautiful, soft and pillowy. I love it. Okay, so we're going to get some flour on the top because when we roll it out, we don't want it to stick. Okay, if we need excess flour, we can always add some. So we want to roll it into a long rectangle if we can. Okay, so we'll go this way, and what I'm doing is I'm going from the middle out. Okay, you can go this way, rolling from the middle out. Then from here you can go up, 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 down, down, and down. Okay, so you can try to do that just a little more. We want to get it pretty thin. Okay. So I would say more like 1/8 of an inch, if possible. The thinner you get it, the better your swirl is going to be in your finished result. Okay. Maybe some of you have noticed that I'm using a different rolling pin now. This is called a French rolling pin. You see that on the sides it's tapered. In the middle, it's a little bit thicker. It's so much easier to use this to roll out. So if you can invest in one of these, I think you'll really like it. Okay, so our brioche dough is rolled out, and now we have to fill it. So as I mentioned to you, this is a strawberry swirl brioche. So we have some strawberry jam here, and we've added a little bit of lemon zest. We've added a little bit of salt. And so we're going to put this in. We're going to spread it as much as we can into the dough, okay? Don't worry about some little chunks here and there. I'm going to go ahead and add all of the amount here. So this is really your preference. If you want a lot, you can put a lot. If you don't want a lot, or if you don't want any at all, that's okay too, okay? So the cool thing about brioche is that you can make it savory or sweet. Today we're making it sweet. You could put peanut butter in here, you could put Nutella, you can put chocolate chips, butterscotch chips, caramel chips. You can also make it savory as well. You can put herbs, maybe like an herb butter, or you can put caramelized onions, you can put bacon. There are so many options. And, oh, cinnamon, obviously cinnamon sugar, and that would be great. So just use it as a foundational base dough, and then you can flavor it to your liking. So I'm just trying to spread the strawberry all the way to the edge. And the reason why you have chunks here is those are strawberry bits, okay? Those are a lot of strawberry bits and seeds. All right, okay. Now we're going to roll this, okay? So we want to use our fingers. We want to try to roll. What I'm doing is I'm tucking, I'm pulling, and tucking. Okay. So I'm pulling and tucking while this is getting rolled, okay? And the mixture is quite liquidy right now, this jam, and you might be worried about that. But once it bakes, it will be gorgeous, trust me. Okay. Get that nice and rolled. We're almost there. Okay, so you see how each time I'm pulling the dough just a little bit to make it taut. Okay, this is an important step so you don't have anything loose. Okay, back and forth, back and forth. Once you get to the edge, you can go ahead and pull and pinch the dough if you have the edge already. Okay, so for example, I have the edge right here. I'm pulling and I'm pinching. Pinching. Okay. Pinch. Pinch. And just make sure that our filling is properly secure. Okay? Well, it won't be in a second, you'll see. Okay, so just double check that that pinch is good to go. Right? Now, you have a couple of choices. If you want, you can make this into a roll like that. You can swirl it into a kind of a snake or a snail, or you can do what I'm going to do. And you can bake it in a loaf pan, but we're going to actually cut it in half first and twist it. And that will be really, really beautiful, okay? So we're gonna take a serrated knife. Actually, I'm gonna flip it over first so it's seam side down. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to literally cut the dough with the serrated knife. Okay? So as you can see here, it's exposing it. I'm trying to cut it quickly so that I expose all of that. Okay? Don't worry about the dough looking messy up this point. That's supposed to happen. Okay? I just want to make sure I've cut all the way through. I should have 2 pieces here that are exposed. Okay? Now we braid. Okay, well, not really braid, we just twist. So all I'm going to do is wrap. Okay, you see how I'm doing that? Wrap like that. So we'll do that, but we'll start more towards the middle. Okay. So it's gonna get messy. That's all right. And if it flips over on itself, that's the beauty of this braid, is you have all these different textures going throughout. So we'll do it on this side. Strawberry swirl brioche. I didn't say it was going to be a clean one. Okay. Gorgeous. Right? Now what do? Okay. Now we want to snake this in our loaf pan. I've already sprayed it. This is a non-stick loaf pan. And so basically I want to make sure that it fits. Okay. So basically I'm going to do it so that it fits in the loaf pan. So I have 1/3 here, and then I'm going to put 1/3, okay? And we're going to try our best to move it from one location to the other. If you want, you can use your bowl scraper, you can use your bench scraper for this. Okay, I'm gonna just use my bowl scraper and my hands, and I will just relocate, okay? So like I said, it's not a clean process, okay? We're actually going to let this proof a second time before we bake it, okay? So I know it doesn't look like much right now. We're gonna let it proof a second time until it's nice and puffy, and then we will bake it. We might not have to egg wash it because there's so much jam in there. Okay, stay tuned. Have it open.